Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. For my YouTube viewers, thank you for your support. Last week, we had an entire week of live trading that you guys came to. If you're watching this video and you weren't at that live session, you should go back and watch all those videos. There's a lot of very good information that is going to help you in there. So I hope you do find it interesting. Leave your comments. And for those traders who were in the webinar, leave your comments. Let people know what you think about it. Let's go. So on the dollar index, last week we were still in this same consolidation, and we are still in here. You will notice that this is having the most consolidation in it. So I tend to believe that when you see this pattern happening, this would eventually go back up there, but this would become like the most corrective part in this correction, which means there's a very good probability we might be stuck here for a while, going up and coming down, making a very big flat here. In rare cases, this could be a big flat that would drop much lower. So I guess this week will still be in consolidation, maybe for the entire week. What does that mean in the bigger picture? In the bigger picture of things, this is a sharp move. We've had a few of these where we did not get the second part of it. So we'll come back and we'll go back. At some point, we'll go back and look at all of them and see which could be matching with which, right? For example, I think we had this one. There wasn't very much that went with this one because we assumed that that was a correction of its own. I still haven't seen anything. Could it be that it's matching with this one for those long drawn out running flats that we normally see, right? Because if this makes a lot of correction in here, what will happen eventually, whenever this whole thing is finished with an up move at the top there and a move down back here, this could become a very big flat that would continue to go up. Whether we get one of this after that or whether it becomes something more we'll have to wait until that happens, right? So that possibility exists, or whether this one is going to be matching with the one at the back there, which means this will just continue to go up. But before that happens, we need to go up, we need to come down back, probably go back up, come back down, go back up, come back down, and then go. So there'll be a number of up and down trades. That means it's tradable because the range is big. We will take short-term trades, like most of the trades we took last week was very short-term trades. You have to just let it drop, take your profit off immediately. If you did that, you make money. If you didn't do that, you got a lot of break-even trades. We're still in the same situation. So under 15 minutes, if you put it this way, we can look for a buy setup, assuming that there will be a move up like this. So all you need is an impulse. You will need a flag like this, and we will get to the next one. So if at some point this drops here, make an impulse, makes a flag, we can go for one trade. You have to take it as a single trade. I don't think this one is there as yet. So there's a good chance we might be stuck here, but we can still trade. Silver, perfect. It did drop. If you were following me last week, I told you it will go back up because we are looking at the pattern as something that has to go back up at this point here now. If you took this trade, that is amazing. If you took that trade there with that consolidation, that's an amazing trade. If it makes the next consolidation, we go here. Now we've got to watch this piece when we get to this level. If this is a 1, 2, 3, we're going to go back up to retest this stop. But there's a chance we could still be in this consolidation here, come back here, then go back and break the top and then drop. So we could be still in this consolidation for a long time. The 4 hour, can this actually be the one that takes off to the upside? That is rare. It could happen, but it's rare because the depth of which this has come back, right? So we're looking for a trade setup either to come and break this top. That's one option. Either just to come a little more, go back down, and then start going back up to the top. I don't think this is what is going to drop and think it possible. Could happen, but it's going to be rare with a big flat here. We would take both the buy and the sell, and if we're wrong about that, that is the one break the low, we'll be in a good trade. So right now, what we can look for here is if you took this trade, that is amazing. It's a very good one. You probably want to close it. You want to wait for this to complete what it's doing, get an entry above the top, go back up. The entry should not be there as yet because I think this is incomplete. Now it's complete actually. You can make an argument for this being a small running flat. So if you're still in the trade, I would put a stop to it right here. If when it breaks the top, it starts to pull back, you want to get the hell out of it because it's possible that when they break the top here, they can start to pull back to make a new low. So since you're in consolidation, you've got to be aware that this might not be the one that goes. Which one will go? I don't know. This could be a sharp wave depending on which one is the top here. Let's see which is the top here. Want to look at this? Yep, this is the top. So this is still the beeper. So if you're getting a sharp one like this here, probably just breaking the top and coming here. This would be the flat in the middle. There's a chance you'd make a new low and then you'd start to go up. So if you're in this trade, you have to be aware of that this could be just coming up a little more here. Just move this up. If you're in the trade, just move this up. Right now, there's a trade set up if you want. It's a very small one. It's a 15-minute flag, and it's pretty well. It's kind of a 1 hour. You can put an entry above the top. It might just give you one spike and come back down because you're looking at this possibility. If that was out of the way, it would have been okay. You're looking at this sharp move here. That could repeat itself here. So you still probably have a little more to get the break even. If you took this one, this is perfect. This is the one if you took. It's perfect. Put a stop here. And let's see how far this goes. So if you're going to take this here now, just remember that there's a higher risk in it. And the reward is no good because your stop has to be here, right? This is where your stop has to be. If you take the trade here, well, it's going to tag you just now. It might just do this and then start dropping. If you're lucky, you get out for break even. So I would say if you're going to take the next trade, wait for a bigger correction. If you're not in this trade, wait for a bigger correction. Upside. Now again, would this be the one that go out? It's not going up as aggressive. We'd like it to go like this, but we remember that this was the flat last week. Turned out we were perfectly about that. We got that right. This is coming down. We broke the low. Is it going up? This would have been a buy. That would probably be a break even. You're getting another flag here. Just probably to this level. If that breaks out, that is perfect. I think we can take this flag. Try to get it to break even, right? Because if it doesn't break out, you're going to be stuck there. But it could break out because we do have that. Do we have divergence here? Yeah, we do have divergence. We broke the low. It's going up. An earlier entry would have been a best trade. But if you're not, this could be a trade. Let me see the 15, what it looks like. You might still have the same risk because it's a lot of consolidation in here, right? You can see that there is. This looks like a running flat forming now because if you would take this, you'd probably take this as the flat here. We made an impulse. We got this. So you could break there, pull back here, make another running flat, come here. And if that happens, the chances are we might even retest the low. So if you're going to take this trade, don't worry. Let it pull back like this. Let's get a pull back. And then if you get a trade here to break the top, you can get it to break even. If that takes off, good. So if not, the next option of how we normally trade is, but if you think it's going to take off really fast without you, put an entry above the last impulse. That's one of the options, right? That is a safe, that is a secure entry because unless you break that up, you're not going to be tagged. And you only break that up if you're making a bigger structure, not a smaller, which means if we're expecting them to go up, for this move, sorry, you're expecting this move to happen. So if they break through, they're going to do this. Even if they come back down, you will get positive, right? Even if it comes back down. What's the bigger picture in that? Well, we're still in the consolidation, and we thought this was the big expansion last week. We actually looked at this as a flat, so we thought this here was a bigger expansion, which means this should come here. Well, about the top, not necessarily. Then we're going to tag the low again before we go back up. So we're still in the consolidation. Would it go up now? It looks good for me for the upside. Let's go with this. So we'll put this as a buy. We'll put this as a buy. This is a safe buy entry. We'll put this as an entry order for a buy there. If you get a better entry here, if you take the one, if it pulls back early and then go, you get a better entry than that. Let's go here. Well, this was a sell if you took it, and that one was an aggressive sell we had last week. If you took it, you had enough time to close it. It's not going. Pull it back here. Remember, we're not interested so much in the buy. But you might be getting a buy set up here now. This could go break the top. So this would be interested if you get a good consolidation here, right? If this turns out to make a very good consolidation here, then we can consider this trade. I'd put an entry above the top here. I don't think we have enough consolidation for that as yet, but if we do, we can take it because then we know we're going to break this top, right? It will break that top, and when it breaks this top again, it will break this top first if that happens, and then it might break this top. If it breaks that top, we'd assume that this flat is over and we're going down. If it breaks this top and start to fall, we'll assume that we're coming here and we could still go back up for one more because this would be very corrective. Right? And if you're getting so corrective, then the chances are it's not as sharp as this. It might not be the one that goes. If it breaks the top, we'd assume, well, it's just a three-wave structure to downside. So we will take the buy if you want. There's a buy setup that could form there. But then, so I'm going to put it as a buy setup, which means you're waiting for this thing to make some more consolidation, and then you put that entry there. Because we're there 4 hours though. Yeah, we're there more than 4 hours. You can actually put it. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. So we can put the entry there. I'll put it as an entry because I thought it was only 2 hours. It's about 4 hours there. So put the entry above the top, wait for it to break this top, put it to positive and see how far it goes. If it gets it above this, you start taking profit. Euro, pretty much like the dollar index, we're sideways. You have a flat in here, kind of go up, pull back, you're going up, but you're going up really, really, really slow. So this could become a flat of its own when you come back here. Can we sell this? Well, remember this one? We did sell that, right? Turned out very good. You close the trade here. Same thing we're going to do. We're going to look for a flag. We're going to sell it. And then we're going to look for one more up because you're going to have up, consolidation, up. And then we'll see if it drops. Right, so how far this is going to go, I don't know. Maybe we're going to break the top first. It looks like they'll probably do this, break the top, give you a running flat, and then look for one more up and then drop. Can it get all the way to this top? On the bigger picture, we're assuming it could get all the way to that top, right? It's here. This one is going to be difficult to tell whether this is a correction in it because we have this flat, and if we get another one here, this will be 2 flats, go up like this. There's a lot of consolidation for an impulse like that. So there's a good chance this might even drop here, go back up there, make one like this, make the final drop and then go. So we could be still in this sideways consolidation for a very long time. We'll trade each piece of it. We'll take it one piece at a time. The setups might change really quick. We'll wait for the next setup, the next direction, and then right now, I don't think this trade, you want to take it anywhere in here. You want this to break the top or come close to that top and then wait for an impulse and a flag before you sell. So we had a sell entry, we pulled that sell entry, it's not valid. You can't put a sell entry here because your stop has to go here and all this thing has to be stag you here and go back up in a split second. So you might not get enough for break even there. So we'll just wait on it. We'll wait for the ideal setup and then we'll take the trade. It's still in consolidation. Pound. Pretty much the same thing. We're still in consolidation here. So if you, depend on how you look at this as well, if you thought that this was a contracting flat, then this looks downside. If you think this was the flat, then this would probably go up one more, right? So this could probably go up one more. This piece here could go up one more, break that top, still come back down for this, right? If you thought that this was a contracting flat in here, let's go, for example, with something like this, something maybe like that level, contracting flat there, or running flat in this case, then this would be something that would drop one more here, like this, make this one, and go back up. I don't see this dropping. We're still in this sideways move. See? Don't trade. We don't have any trade set up there that is good enough to take. So we'll just leave it. I'll even take this 2 out so you don't have a bias on it. Let it finish what is. Let it either break the low or break the top, and then we start looking for setups. Now, is it going to get to this top? I don't think so. I doubt whether this here would go. We'll probably make consolidation here, go one more up, and then we'll look for the drop. It's making, this had one flat, this had one flat. This is getting confusing. So let's see if they're going to take off, break the top. If they take off, shoot up to this level, then we just look for the sell setup. Aussie. This one might be easier. You're getting another flag, another flat. Would this go back up one more? It's possible. We'll probably look at all of this as a running flat. Right? This goes back one more, but then you're going to drop one more because this looks very much like a flat in the making. Can this be the one that goes up to the top there? If it does, we're going to go with this flat. And we're going to sell. If we get a buy setup, it has to be above the top. So if you get any buy setup in this, it has to be above this top. Not here. This looks like it can drop. Can we sell it? Sure, put an entry there. If it drops, it's going to break this low. You're going for this trade. All the trades are going to be very small if you're in the thing. You're going for that trade. Break this low or don't break the low, doesn't matter. If it breaks the low, all we're going to look for is a running flat. If it doesn't break the low, we'd look for a regular flat. So it turned out to be what we thought it did. Is a big correction. It's going sideways. How we're going to look at it? Well, let's see. Here's a flag forming here right now. Let's see the 15 what it looks like. So you can make an argument that this is the top. This was a smaller version of some kind of a flat here. If you can do that, that is the top. If you want, we can probably assume that this here is a running flat. We're crawling up like this, right? Kind of crawling up like this. Go there, break the top, drop. That's one option. Or the second option, well, this was the actual top of the whole structure. This is a contracting flat. This is 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3 to this level with a small flat here. This drop, this makes a flag, come back here, go back there and drop. If it is going to drop, we want the trade. So we will put a sell setup here. right? Out of those two options, if it's going to drop, you want the sell setup here, right? That's the sell. If it is not going to drop, then let it come here, go back there, break the top, start to come down, give us a flag, and we sell it. So this, as of now, is still a sell setup. As of now, what would change that? Well, if you break the top, make a flag here, we start buying, right? But as of now, we're looking for a sell setup. Let's see what happens at this point. Keep it like this, and let's see what happens. I think there might be a chance we might even look at this as a running flat. There's an option for that. That could be a running flat in the middle, right? If especially if this is going to go back to break the top. For now, we'll just keep it like this. It's not the best one, but we'll keep it like that and see what happens. An entry order for the sell. We don't have a buy setup, so we'll go with the sell. We'll put a sell setup here. You're going to keep a stop above the top, and you're going to target the break of this low. That's a small trade, but that is all the setup we have as of now. And we're still in consolidation. New Zealand. Still consolidating, so there's a good chance it still is going to go one more up. This here might still go back up one more, right? Just make one more spike, not too deep. This is there. We might come back really sharp, go back up, come back down, go back up. And if all of this happens, the question is, this looks very corrective. We might eventually drop here before we go back up there, making a really huge flat here. That possibility exists. If not, we just have to wait. I don't like the buy setup. It's not the big move to the upside. I personally don't think that this is the one that will come and break the top. It's possible that happened, but this is really, you got this pullback. You got that. You could make a flat in here. You got another flat there. You're making another flat there. That's not the one. We're not looking at this impulse going up there. But remember, this had a flat. It made a deeper one, but then it eventually go. So if it's going to be exactly the same thing here, then we will get this to be the correction. One more down. Possible, right? This is going to be 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't, I wouldn't bet on that happening that way, because this thing has a lot of correction in it. It's really slow. There is a buy setup. If you take it, you'd have to be really quick at getting out for break even. If it does this and it starts to pull back, you have to get out to trade, and that might be impossible to do. So I would say just leave it. It's still in the consolidation. Why trade? Let it stay there for now. Let it break through the top and tell us what it's doing. Then we will take any trade. Swiss. So we tag the low and we're reversing, which is not a good sign, because in that case, there's a good chance we might look at this as a flat of itself separately, and we'll make a new high before we come down back and go back up eventually. Right? We still have to come down back for this one that is a running flat. This is a flat, right? If we look at this as a flat separately of its own, then this goes back up to the top. We have to still come down back for this, because this is going to extend to that, and you would still have to get this as a running flat before you go back up. I don't see this. This sharp move is not looking like it's the end of the whole structure, because we're starting to pull back. Now, the only thing that would change that is if this move here becomes a flat rather than a flag. So if this drops much lower, if this here drops to the bottom, then we go back up there, make a flat, and that becomes a sell setup. Right? Those are the options. Right now, it looks like this is going sideways for the sell. We're getting a short sell setup here, but that is within the correction, right? All of this is within the correction. This is your sharp move up. We don't have anything for that, right? We don't have anything for that move. This is the drop. This was the correction. Sorry. Yeah, I don't. 1 second, guys. Sorry, still have them after effect from the call I had last week. So we're looking at this. This could drop some, but look how it came down. Slowly. So if they probably still do that slowly, we'll go back up to make a flat. It all depends how low this comes. Because if it just breaks this low, if it literally just breaks this low here and decide to go back up, we'll buy it. All right, keep an eye out for that. If it breaks this and it started to go back up, we will put a buy entry here. because this is the impulse we were expecting to get to the upside. But if it comes all the way to the low, which means comes here, make a flag, comes here, make a flag, get to the bottom here, and go back up, we'll consider this trade, but then that is the sell setup we'll be looking for. 1 second, guys. Give me a second, please. Yep, sorry about that. Yeah, let's go. So I still have this throat problem. It's kind of annoying, but if anything, I'll have to take a few more pause. Excuse me. Hope it gets better. Yeah, let's go. So we're looking at this. This is a very aggressive trade. If anybody wants to assume it could come to the bottom here, if you can get out for break even in case it just does this and go back up, might be worth taking because the market is slow. Everything is moving really slow, and this might become a good trade. Who knows? Let me put it here so we can. But my traders were very aggressive. You can go with that. If it doesn't go, you get out for break even, and then we'll look for the buy setup. Right? This is the first impulse. That's all we have, and we're inside the consolidation now. The range is good. What is the range of this? This is about, that's 80 something pips. You get 20 something pips out of the trade. US CAD, I'm not putting it as a trade. You would know. US CAD, we can put a sell setup. We do have a flat here. Sorry. We do have a flat here. We're making another flag here, and I'm pretty sure we're looking more downside. That will go for a sell setup. If you sold it last week, hope you took profit. We're looking at another sell setup here. Put it back on an hourly. Yeah, that's a good small consolidation happening there. You don't expect it to be too much. I'll take this off. That was a sell from last week. We'd assume that this was all the flat you have somewhere along the line because there was a flat in here. Remember, there was a flat here in the middle here. You had a 1, 2, 3. So you can go with 1, 2, 3. This being a 3-wave structure up, no problem. That is okay. It's coming. It came down really slow, but we're going down. If you get a sell, you can take it. We did break that top, so there's a good reason to believe we can continue to go down much more. Now, if they're just making a flat for one more up, if we're making a flat here for one more up, then when it breaks the low, it's going to come back, try to get break even, and then we'll see if we get a buy setup. Right? It needs a buy setup. We don't have a buy setup. This thing could come all the way back to the bottom. So we're going to go with the sell for now. Put the entry order for the sell, and we'll see where that takes us. We don't have divergence at the bottom, which means that they're telling us that the down momentum is much stronger. So the sell is a good idea. We'll put this as a sell. You have Aussie sell, CAD sell. That's good. One of them will work. One of them is going to drop. So you could get one break-even trade and one very good trade. Or both of them go. That is possible. Yen absolutely would be a sell. Let it break the stop again. Let it come back here, break this top. We'll try to get the trade from the top here, but we'll put the entry here. Right now, the entry is here. I can see them coming back to the top there, and then we're looking for that trade down, which is an equivalent of this. Bigger picture, we're in this thing here, right? So bigger picture, this could totally drop. We've seen this case where this happens, and we never get anything for it. We like this one, right? We never got anything for it. We come back. I think in this case, we'll come back and associate this one with this. That would be perfect. This was a very sharp move. It could be the end of the structure. Could it be they're making a running flat here now? It's possible, especially if this comes here, drop, make another one, drop, make another one, drop. We'll go back up, we'll come back down, and then we'll go. This will all be one bigger running flat, especially if this is the corrective one. But the sell is a good idea. If this thing is the top of the structure, we have 4-hour consolidate divergence. We have daily divergence. If you look at it, we have daily divergence. We have 4-hour divergence. I'm absolutely sure we have somewhere in there 60 minutes divergence. Well, we can't tell because this is the first move down. This will tell us when it drops at the bottom. At the top, there's definitely divergence, and you have internal divergence in this one here as well. So there is a lot of divergence. This is a weekly top. Take the sell. We sold this and we sold this. Why wouldn't we sell this? We'll sell it. As a matter of fact, you can put this here now if you want. It's going to break the top. It's good enough, right? I'll put the entry there. This is a sell, and this is a sell you must take. Right? Because if this starts to drop, it will go really much, especially since we have CAD to the downside. Good enough. Euro New Zealand. Let's go. Okay, so we can assume that this was the flat. This is what we had last week. It broke the low. It looks like we're getting a flag for upside. Should we buy this? I think we should take the buy. Even if it doesn't go far and we have to work towards a break even, take that buy. Because if this is a 1, 2, 3, if this is 1, 2, 3, and we're going up, that's a good one. right? It could go break the stop, it could take off like a rocket. That happens sometimes. Worst case, you'll try to get break even. If it does something like this and look like it's coming down back, go for break even. This is sharp enough. I don't think they're, we'll see. I like the upside. Take the buy, we'll put a buy entry here. The trade is manageable, and which means you can get a hell out for positive. We'll put it like that and we leave it there. EUR CAD. It never broke, it just keep coming down, but we're still inside of this, so we'll take this out. We still have to break the top, big structure. Can we look at a contracting flat? Let's take this out. We never got this sharp move up. That was the one we were looking at, right? So now you have this. You came down very slow in this. Let me take this off. We had a sharp move down and we went up like this, but then we came down like really slow. So at some point you have to do this for running flat and would look for sell setups at that point. It looks like we're not going to go higher. That might be the top, right? That might be the top. If that is the top, this still is the B part of that whole structure. So wait for this to pull back. Would look for a sell back to the bottom here. Go back up, come back down, go back up and drop. We're still in this. And I think this is the B part. If we're wrong about that, this drop is going to go straight down. If we're wrong about this being the B part, that's the end of the structure. Then we look at this as the flat. We look at this as 1, 2, 3, and this would totally drop. So the sell is a good idea. We don't have the sell setup as it stands right now. To get this sell setup, it has to either go back to the top here, make a running flat. We're going to put an entry here, or we're going to look for a flag here. What if we're wrong about that and this is the correction? Let's say that is all the correction here, right? This is dropping, then make a flag here. Give us a flag that is worth selling. I don't think that's all. I think it's going to go back up. So we're going to put this as a sell setup we're looking for. Euros. Okay, if you got tagged in that one, you want to keep an eye on it. I think this was a contracting flat in the middle here. Right, this is a contracting flat. I think we took that. You shouldn't have been tagged in that here, and you shouldn't be tagged in there because on the way up, you close that trade. I didn't put it in 15. So let's say you got tagged there, drop here, go back up, you close the trade. By rule, you should do that. If you didn't, it came here, you're looking for a close, your stop should have been somewhere here on this one. Let's see what we look at. We'll go with a contracting flat in the middle there. I think that makes sense. This would be the 1, 2, 3. Because it broke the low, 1, 2, 3. Go back up, you got a buy setup here, but it's not ready. It's incomplete as it stands. This has to go back, come here, go back up there, make that small flat, come back here, and then we've got a flat here for a buy setup. If that happens, it's a very good buy setup. On the 1 hour, you probably have about 2 hours sideways. You have more than 2, you have about 4 or 5 hours. It still has to probably consolidate some more, and then that becomes a good buy setup. It's worth buying, especially if you're consolidating at the top there. What's the big picture? Maybe one more impulse up. If this consolidates here, then that's probably one more impulse up. Remember, at any point, this thing could start to drop. So if you take this trade, you'll just go for one impulse, take profit. I think you should go for it. Remember this one, how far that went? It was a buy setup. Don't ignore this buy. Let's go back to the 1 hour and look for the buy setup. It will probably take some more time here, but if you want to put an entry order now, is there a possibility for a contracting flat in the middle? Not really. And if this breaks this low, there's a good chance. Well, I don't think we could go with 1, 2, 3. And this takes off. So it might be worth putting in the entry order here. And if it becomes a bigger flat, we'll take it off. So the entry for the buy is still right. Could we look at this as more of an expanding flat? If this is an expanding flat, then they will just drop and break the low. And then we'll look for the buy setup. So for now, we're going to go with the contracting flat. And it didn't break the top, it didn't break the low. We'll take the contracting flat and we're looking for a buy setup. So we'll put this as a buy. Euro Swiss. I think we clearly have a buy setup. This one broke the low, the sell was there, the sell was here, the break even. You're getting a buy setup here now. It looks incomplete, right? It kind of looks incomplete. I think we would want this to drop one more. We actually want this to come back here one more, retest this low, and then go. Question is, if it becomes a running flat, then it will probably tag you here, pull back a little, and then you have to keep a stop here. The entry order is worth putting on. Keep it above that, or probably a couple pips above it. If it becomes a running flat, you have to be aware that you're going to be there for a while. Where would this take us? Let's see. Well, we're hoping this is going to drop lower here, break the low before it goes. So what would be that up move be? Just a bigger correction. There's a good chance that this might just break the top here, make a running flat, and then drop. Because we had a correction in here, we got a drop, we got a correction in here, we got a drop. 2 corrections in this is probably calling for a running flat. So we'll take that trade and we'll manage it to break even. What if it's a deeper correction before they come down? It's possible. We don't have any sharp move at the top, but sometimes it can come back all the way to this top. See this one? It went above the top, became a running flat. So in this case, an expanding flat, sorry. So in this case, what if it's an expanding flat too? Before it drops, that trade is good. Work towards a break even. I like the trade. We take it, we work towards a break even, we put a buy setup. And we have buys in the Euro Oz, we have buys in the Euro New Zealand, we have buys in the Euro. So at least one more move up is possible in each one of them. Euro yen. Okay, this was a good sell. It never broke the low. Let's see what happens. Take this off. It's just consolidating still. So somewhere in the future, we will get that. Somewhere in the future, we'll get the sell set up. Let's in the 15 if we can put the entry order on for the sell. I would be a little careful with this, putting the entry order on. Let it drop, make a flag, and then go. Because this move down is sharp, and if they're making a running flat there, you can be tagged here, so you have to wait for that. We'll come back to this. I like the sell setup, especially since I think it might be making a running flat at the top there, or a regular flat, which means this would have to come back to this level, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then go back up. So there is a drop coming. If you want to take it aggressively, which means if you want to take it aggressively, wait for it to break the top and then go. If you want to be very conservative about a sell, put an entry here. You'll put a stop above this stop whenever it tags you here, right? So this is, you're coming back to retest this low. We didn't break the top. See, well, we tagged it, but didn't break it as such. So they can come back and tag the low. But it is a sell. We'll try to get a better entry for the sell though. Europa. Okay, this is going back up a lot, and I think it might even go retest the top. We can't put this for now, but there's a good chance it might go retest the top. This will probably go back, retest this top, and then we'll have to take this out. Because even if we put it like this, we'll wait for this to drop, make a flag, and then sell. It is still a sell setup. That has not changed. The only time that changes if it goes all the way back to this top. Then we'll assume it's making a bigger running flat, right? We'll relook at the structure and assume that then this piece is making a bigger running flat for one more up, or a bigger flat, regular flat for one more up. We can keep the sell set up there until we break this top. The sell is still valid until you break that top, right? When it breaks this top, then we take it off. Because the higher it comes to this, the more the chance are it will just do this and go back up. Or we'll try to get it from a higher point. So we can leave it there for now. I'll put a sell setup for there for now. And let's see if it drops. If it drops through the bottom, if this drops through the bottom, that sell is good. We'll go with an expanding flat. Right, if it drops through the bottom. So let's leave this, let's leave it there. Put a sell setup. And go. Vamos. It did break. We were assuming that that structure will always break. It did break, but it didn't go very far and it's going back up. So when that happens, you look for possible flat, expanding flat. Could it be? Possible. Could be an expanding flat. Go up one more. I probably wouldn't be buying this. Right? I can see them probably tagging that up, but then this is coming down. Right? We're in this sideways move. We were there last week. And we're still there. So there is no trade setup eyeing this at the top there. We'll leave it, let it break the top, and then we'll start to look for the sell setup. Pang Yen? Absolutely looking for this sell. We didn't break the top, so the chances are that even if this comes down here, it will just be an expanding flat, or they're just making a bigger flat here before they go. So the chances are this might come here, come back here, and then go, making a bigger flat here. Let's see where we get the trade and how we're going to take it. You can put a sell here. I don't think a buy here. This buy wasn't really a great idea. If you took it, you got break even. This buy here wouldn't be a great idea because it's probably gonna just break the top and then come back. You get a sharp move down, you expect this, you get another move down, and then we'll see if it goes back up or it continues to go down. This is a good trade. We'll take the trade. So I'll put a sell setup here. And we'll see where that goes. That could change. That could literally change if this actually goes all the way here, make a flag. We'll go back to this stop, come back here, and then go. This would become the running flag, but you need that flag. In this case, if it just break the top and drop, you want the trade. So we'll put the sell setup. It's almost breaking the top. We'll put the sell setup and see where that takes us. Pound Swiss. You might be getting your buy setup here finally. We have an entry order above this stuff, but you're making a flag here. What does this look like in the 50? It looks complete. If you go with a contracting flat here, that's a complete one. But if you go with this, then you needed to come back here one more and then go. I needed to come back and retest this low before it goes. So I probably will wait for that, because if they make all of that inside of this, it might not break out. Remember, we had one here already. We had this one and we put the entry order. And it actually dropped. So this turned out that this was this flat in here. That was the top and it dropped. So they made a flat here, they dropped. Not very good. This is a running flat. So you kind of get a 1, 2, 3. Where you put this, this is some kind of the correction is this piece here. You get a 1, 2, 3. This one would have to go with some kind of a correction here on the way down. This was another very, very corrective. This could be something that literally just go break this top and come back one more down. Let's leave it where it is, above the impulse. Leave the entry order above that, the last impulse down, which would be this. This is the last impulse down. If this comes back here and go back there, but don't break that top, it could still drop one more. See? That could still be a thing. And we're not selling the inside of this. It has to break through, make a flag here outside of that structure, and then we'll start to sell. We're in this bigger structure, right? And we're at the bottom of it. We're at the very bottom of that really, really huge daily structure. Yep, you definitely don't want to sell here. You want to buy entry. So we leave the buy entry there, put it as a buy, and leave it. That entry stays there until structural change and we decide to take it off. Pound CAD. Okay, we had a buy entry here. Now you had a buy entry above the top. It should have been above the top. It's above that top, probably a few pips above that top, right? Because we had the line there. We thought this could be an expanding flat. I think our thought process will, what if this is an expanding flat here, or probably a bigger running flat here? So it probably would have come here and then go back up. It broke the low. So let's assume this here was the contraction. This was a running flat, but not for the upside, just to come down. This turned out to be a running flat. You make a top, you come down back. I think the expanding flat is what we looked at, which is this one. Possibility of this being an expanding flat. You got out, even if you got tagged there, you got out of the trade here. You can see the sideways movement in there. So it didn't drop suddenly. There was no reason to, let's assume, I think we closed that. The first one we had was this, you tagged, we closed, you got tagged, you closed, you put an entry, you got tagged. If you got tagged there, you closed it here, you closed it here. Put an entry above the top, especially if it's not going, you don't just stay with it. Right? By rule, you don't stay with the trade if it's still not going. I think we'll go with this running flat here. That makes sense. Drop. Did we break the low? We need to break the low before we go back up. So we haven't broken, we broke this low, but we haven't broken this one. Do we need to break that one? Maybe not. I will let it break the low first. Put it like this now. It's still a sideways move. Put this one like this. For now, oh, 1, 2, 3. Put one here so we can see this pattern clear. We're assuming that's 1, 2, 3 there, which means we have to go down some more. I think there's more downside before we go back up. Okay. There's a good chance this consolidates here, drop, consolidates, drop, and then we go back up, making something like this. It's still upside. We just have to wait until that's finished. Right? Go back to the 15, wait for your buy setup. We don't have a buy. You're not going to buy here. That's way too far. We have to wait for this to go, make a flag in here, and then we'll buy. Let it drop. And then once it breaks the low, we start looking for buy setups. Pound New Zealand. This is going to drop one more. If you sold, you close that trade for positive. There's another flat here. It will probably drop one more. I don't think we want to sell it now, right? We were in this structure. It's going to come here and then you get one more up there. Let's look for the buy. When it drop one, put an entry here, wait for a flag here. But this we'll get this trade today. It's going to happen today. We're under 15 minutes. There's one more up. When it breaks the top, that's when we're going to look for the downside, right? There's one more up here. It comes, it breaks this top. Then we start to look for this straight down back. And I'll come back here and then we'll go back up. So we take this trade today and then we look for the rest of the week downwards. Go back to I look for a buy setup. We don't have a setup. We're looking for a buy setup. Wait for it it will drop first. I don't think we need to sell, right? It's going to drop, but all it needs to do is break this low so you can get a drop here. And then we put an entry here and we look for a flag here to buy for the upside. Aussie yen. By the way, if you're following me on YouTube, you might not get this. If you follow me and you understand the way we traded last week, you will not get all these updates. So a lot of these trades that has both sides, you have to be careful with your trading, right? Especially if the first side doesn't work, we're going to go with the second side. You know how we do that, right? This one is consolidating here. So at some point, we will probably take this as a contracting flat somewhere in here. So you get a 1, 2, 3, and you're coming down, especially if this stays here and consolidate. We'll look for drop. So all the yen pairs now are starting to show at least one more downside. At least one. Euro yen has it, this has it, and this would likely probably bring us to about this level here. So there's a sell setup we're looking for, and then one more up. Pretty similar to this one. So let's see if we get that trade. Let it go up some more. It has to break this top, and then we'll move this to this level. I move that to that level. And it break. It doesn't have to break the top, especially depending on how you're looking at it. If you're looking at this as a possible running flat in here with a 1, 2, 3, it just needs to tag the top and come back. So the end shorter for the sell is a good one. Aussie, New Zealand. We're consolidating here, so I'm not sure what that is planning. Let's leave it alone. It should go back up, but it's not going up. So we'll just leave it alone and figure out what it's doing. Aussie Swiss. If you took that trade, you closed that. You had an entry above the top. It didn't go anywhere. Wait. Just wait. We don't have the take off this buy entry. That was the buy entry. Take that off. We don't have anything. All right, it did break out, but it's not going anywhere. Could it be we are making a series of flats? Let's take this off. Right, if you look at this rather than some kind of an ending channel, but a series of flats. So you had one flat here. You had a correction here. You kind of drop, make a lower sharp move. If they make another series of correction here, we go back, make a bigger flat, drop again. Let's see the bigger picture, what it looks like. Nothing. And no buy setup as yet. The only time we'd go with the buy setup is if this goes back up. You want this to go back up to the top here. And then you want it to drop back here. If we get that flat, we'll consider the buy. All the Swiss pairs we are anticipating an up move on. We don't have the setups on them. Aussie CAD. Nice sell if you sold it. Short-term trade, once it breaks that low, you should get that. Remember from last week, I said if you're taking the sell, once it breaks this low, you're getting the hell out of it, right? So your trade would have been here. This would not have taken you out. That is one pullback on the hourly. I think so. That should be a single pullback on the hourly. Yeah, just one single pullback on the hourly. All right, this stopped here, pull back there, drop, close the trade here. If you didn't, you close the trade here now. Because there's a good chance from this point we go back up. We're looking for this trade up. So at some point, this is going to happen. We need to get a flag here. I'm on the 1 hour, so we need a 1 hour flag here. We need this to start making an hourly flag here. And then we're going to take that trade up. It's a buy in the making. Keep your eyes out for that. If it drops lower, don't sell. We're not selling this anymore because we're at the low. So we're looking for this up move back here. Aussie, New Zealand CAD. This should go down lower. Let's see in the 15 if we have anything. No trade setups. Actually, this whole piece is starting to look like a flat, like a big flat for the downside. But we really don't have a good sell setup. There, you can't just put an entry order here. That piece doesn't look like it's dropping. Wait for any flag under the low. Then we'll go for this trade. New Zealand Swiss. All Swiss pairs, this is where they normally turn, and you do have a low here. Now, if this is some kind of an expanding flat, let's put it like this is an expanding flat. This will drop, break the low, and then we start looking for the upside. I'm not selling this. I really don't like the idea of selling this at the bottom of these structures. It could go one lower, and it's possible going to go one lower. We'll probably let it go, sell something else. This is a sharp move down. Remember, this was the consolidation. This here, sorry. This here was all the consolidation. This was a flag of its own here. That was all the consolidation we'll go with. Kind of dropping really fast. Expected it to drop, break this low, and we broke that low already. So the question is, can we expect this, even if they just drop and break this low, to start going back up? Very likely. I think we would expect that. So come back to the 1 hour. We have divergence here. Let's wait for the buy setup. We don't have a buy setup as yet. And I wouldn't take this to be a buy setup because this is mostly a bigger consolidation. Some weird big consolidation here you can go with. 1, 2, 3. There might be a sell setup here just to break this low. If you want the trade, you can go with it. Let's see in the 15 if it's a good sell setup. Short term, very good trade. Just be careful because you're so low. And if this turned out to be the low, we're in trouble if that turns out to be the low. So if you're going to try to sell this here, for this one drop to break that low, you'll have to have an entry here and a stop here. Which doesn't make a good risk to reward trade because when it breaks this low, it can go back up like that. I'd rather wait for the upside. That makes more sense. New Zealand yen. If you get something else that sells, sell it better. This is also going back up, which means we move this to this level now. Still a sell setup. Yeah, we're still expecting at least one more drop. And then from there, we'll see. Right? Expect one more drop, maybe to this level. This is sharp, so we'll probably take this as part. It will be part of the correction. This one is relatively sharp too. Let's see if they come back here and they go back up and do this, then this becomes a bigger flat. Come back here, we'll go with this. 1, 2, 3. So, but this has to come down here first and then go back up. So we wait. Good sell setup. We'll leave the sell and go with it. CAD yen should be a sell setup too. No, this has gone up quite a lot. Take that off. This is way back at the top. Let it break the top first. We're not going to go with a sell here until we break the top. So let it break this top. Go back there, break that top, and then we would look for this trade down here. That'd be a big flat. Let's see what it looks like in the 4 hour. That's a really big one. It's coming very high into this one. So I don't know whether it will end up being another one like this. So which means come here, come back down here, and then go back up. That's an option. Or come to this level and totally drop. Either is possible. Right now, I think it's going to be a bigger flat for one more. Can we buy this to the upside here? Not worth it. And I don't think the sell is ready. So let's wait. CAD Swiss. All Swiss pairs are at the bottom somewhere. This did make a low. If you took the trade, you should get out of it. Right? If you took that trade, it's there for many hours, not going anywhere. You get out of it. We're looking for a buy setup. If you take this, think of running flat. Right? Be careful. You don't want them to just tag you and then go back, right? We've got this sharp move down. I want this to come down here. Probably go back there. Maybe come back here and then go. Give us this. That would make sense. If you're putting it here now for the buy, and we assume that this goes up like that, it will probably come back here and then go. That would make sense. So you can go for the buy, keep a stop under the low. I don't know if it's going to be a running flat. So in that case, if it's a running flat, we want the trade, keep a stop under the low, go for the buy. What's the bigger picture? Way up to the top. We are back to this stop to break this stop here, right? We're assuming they're going to go break the top. We're looking at a 1, 2, 3 and up. I like the trade. We're actually going up nicely. So they can go back and retest that up. Look for the buy setup. We'll manage it if it's becoming a break-even trade. We'll manage that. Swiss yen. Nothing. I don't see the buy setup. I don't see the sell setup. We came back all the way to the top. So let it come back to the low first. Let this come back to the low here. And then we look for the next move up. I wouldn't sell this as a stand right now. If this goes up one more, let it go, break the top, come back here and then go. So we don't have a buy setup either. It's dropping. So if you were with me last week, remember the rules I give you guys. You should have been in this trade. You should stay with it to break even if you want. If you move this up to this level, that's good. If you want to take it off and put another entry here, that's good. It still has some more downside and it's going to probably go very slow. Natural gas. Good sell, take profit, look for another sell setup here. It's consolidating, it's not finishes yet. It's probably going to go there, come here, do this. You'll get a flat here and then you look for a sell setup. You can put a sell in the making. We had a few sells in this last time. This was a sell, this was a sell, this was a sell. So you're getting some good sells. Where would that take us? Maybe back to the low. Let's see. Yeah, pretty deep. It's going back very much so. And it's coming sharp. The only thing we need to exclude now is the possibility of this being a running flat. The possibility of this here being a running flat and go back up. But there's still a sell setup, which means one more drop. And you're going to see sharp move up and then you'll see it flag and then we'll start buying it if that's the case. If not, we're dropping way back now. This price is going to go back. Maybe even all the way to this level. All the way to the 150 back. So keep your eyes on it. Take the sells. Every flag you get is a sell. Wait for this to consolidate some more, then we get it. Oil, yep, it's still a sell. But you're looking at a single drop now. You're expecting this to make a single drop. Just drop here and go right back up. So I'll put it more like this. Put this more like that, right? If it does drop, it's a single drop. We'll go with one single drop here, take the profit, and then upside. We don't have a buy setup there. There's a good chance we're still in this structure. We'll see. We're still in the same structure here. We'll see. It's a single drop. Look for the trade. Can this crawl its way up back to the top? Well, we can't really buy that now. Even if it's crawling its way back to the top, let's assume this is the end of it. Right? That this is that one, and it's going back. We don't have a buy setup. It's too cluster. Wait for it. It looks more like a correction than an up move. So let's wait for the drop. You still have to keep the entry here. As of now, that entry is there. We can look at this as a possibility. This goes back up there, break the top, and then drop. Once it breaks this top, we can move the entry to this level. And once the top is broken. PayPal. Okay, it's probably, we did break the low. So if they're trying to go back up, the buy is a good idea. Right? If this is trying to go back up, especially with divergence so much in play here, we can correct this quite a lot. This is the entire drop. So even if you're making a correction upwards, it's a good idea. The buy here is not a bad idea, actually. Now that you've got a buy setup, finally, you can make it. You can always make an argument. This is the low. This is a flat. Let it make another correction here, and then you can look for a buy setup there. Put an end shorter for a buy. If it's going to drop, you wouldn't be in the trade, right? Or if it tags you like this and start pulling back, take break even. Could it possibly make another running flat and go? I think so, but this looks good for once you're above this stop here and you're consolidating, we go with the buy setup. So put a buy setup here. Tesla, you got a buy setup, still valid to retest this stop. Very short-term trade. If it keeps going up, there's a chance it could go up quite a lot. That's why we're taking it. There's a chance you could come back and retest this stop here in the 4 hour, right? Not only can you come back to this level here and drop one more, but you can come back to this level here. So if it goes to this level, you take break even in the trade, just like we took on the sell, and this sell was good and that sell was good. But if it keeps going up, all you're going to do is put your entry order break even and you leave it, put your stop at break even and leave it. Amazon, it's going up, but we can't really look for buy setups because this is a sharp move here. Let me see. It doesn't have anything to go with it. So not until we break that and consolidate, we'll leave this alone. US order, it's going up. So if you take the entry order for the buy, which we spoke about last week, you would either take it above here, above this flag, you close and put an entry there. Good. It's still going up, so it's going to get to the top now. Now that it's moving so aggressive, we're going to get to this top here, right? So we look at two things: a possible running flat. If you're seeing this video for the first time and you want to know why we're looking at it that way, go back and look at all the videos last week, because we explained that this was the aggressive buy. If you want, you probably could get another aggressive buy here. At this point, you'd have to be careful, because at this point it could drop one more, or it's just going to continue to go to this top and then come back one more, or it's just going to break through. Why it can break through? Go to the daily. It has a daily structure coming down. So if this is the low of the structure, this buy could be valid to this top or to that top, but we have to exclude the running flat. We have to exclude the possibility of this. We have to exclude the possibility of this. So at each one of those points, you're going to move your stops and manage the trade. Now, should we keep this sell setup here? No, you can take this off now, because even if it is going to drop, that's not your sell. Let's assume this was the running flat. You don't have a sell setup here. Look for flags and buy. Wait for a correction. There's a very small one there. That one is already gone. Wait for a bigger correction and then buy. And the same would happen with all of them, right? The same would be here. Same structure you're in. So remember, I said we will put these cells because they were consolidating, but they can move up. You're looking for a possible running flat here again. Possible running flat here and then down, or up there and then down, or continue to go. So this trade, if you get a setup here, wait for a flag before you get in the trade, and then you manage it. And you get a flag there, we manage to take this off. You had this flat, that flat there, so you got a 1, 2, 3. This could be a running flat. I don't see why it can't. So put it in the 1 hour. Wait for a correction. This one is not much of a correction. Wait for something more like this, consolidation like that, or something like this, and then take the trade. And the same here. So all three, this was the buy. We actually put that one on. The rest of them was your option. You can probably go with any other buy setup here. We're breaking out of this structure. What's this? And if we break out of that, you want to watch it to this stop. So take this off. What I would do is wait for this to give you a good one and then take the trade. Wait for a flag here. This is a very, very small one, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. Now that they've moved this much, wait for a deeper pullback, let it do this and make a deeper one, and then you go with that trade. Next, you have a buy setup here. You can take this off. There was a buy setup here if you saw that. Watch it though. This is the final drop. We're going to go back all the way to the top. We're coming back probably all the way to this level. So this would be 1, 2, 3, and this comes here. Wait for any flag. If you're not in this one, if you didn't take this trade, which was a good buy setup, wait for another flag. So I'll just put buy setup in it, because assuming you didn't take that one, just wait for another flag and take the trade. Right? And Nifty. That was a buy. If you close this, you put an entry right above here, you're in the trade. I don't know if you're in the trade, it gapped. So that depends on whether you hold it, whether you stay with it. We're expecting this to go back all the way to the top here. Come back here. All the way to this top and probably breaking out. So we're going to put two options. One option is coming back here. And the second option is totally going out of the structure. Let's see which one, right? Bitcoin. Okay, let's assume you got tagged in it. You have to stay with this for a while. Just remember, we think that it could come back here. There's a good chance it could come back here, make a running flat, and then go one more. Could it be the takeoff? Very possible. So if you're buying Bitcoin at this stage, well, depending if you trade it, but if you buy that price, we're expecting this to go at least one more up to this level, come back here, make a bigger consolidation, and then go back up. You're coming back to this stop. This might be a good place to get in if you want. For the traders who were with me, if you don't like it at any point, you know you can close it and re-enter. Because it's going to come back down. I think there's a good chance it might come back down for this one. Now that this is so slow up, there's a good chance that this could, do this, come back here, and then go make a running flat. And then, so it will be a buy setup. I'll put it as a buy setup, basically, right? And if you go through all of them, we're looking for buys now because they all broke a low. So this one here, it's consolidating. Short term, this could be a buy. You have to be careful with this, right? Look at this. There's a flag there for upside. That's a buy setup. Where's the bigger picture of them? We'll have to look at all of them in the bigger picture. This one could totally go because we complete that flat. We broke the low. This is total upside. What is the daily? Yeah, I don't see why it can't go from here. We came down from this level all the way to this level. Yeah, it could go back up. If you're buying in this stage, I mean, those are good buys, right? You're pretty much, it can take a long time like this. You'll have to get in, get out, get in, get out, and then get it back before it takes off. Hopefully, because of this movement, it can go. The only thing you would have to watch for is the possibility of this happening, which means this happening here and going back down one more like this before it goes. That possibility, I think, exists. But you're looking at this trade first. Right? Remember, we think Bitcoin can go up, come back down, and then go, right? If you look back at the Bitcoin pattern, chances are it's going to go up, it's going to come back down, and then it's going to go. If you look at this, then you can make the same assumption. This one is going to go up, which means go up like this, come back down here, and then take off. Good place to start buying. And you're getting the setups to buy. Right, let's see. Well, this is the low. This one pull back, this pull back. I will put an entry order here and see what happens from that point. Put an entry order here and see what happens. If it drops from this point, we wait for it to break the low, then go. But if it takes off, you want the trade. So we'll put it as a buy setup. You can actually put this as a buy entry and see what happens to this. Put this as a buy entry. Let's go with this. Yeah, this is more of a setup. It's consolidating. You can see that. This is consolidating. Be careful. This would tag you, pull it back here, tag you, pull it back here, make a running flat here, and then probably go. So you can be stuck in this, but the entry order, we'll put it as a buy setup. The entry order should be there because you're consolidating quite a lot. Right? You probably wait for that to finish and then go. Did we break the low? Let's take this off. Yeah, we broke the low. So two things you'll be looking for, especially if you get this here, come back here and then go, is that this could be just a flat like this. See this 1, 2, 3. There's a good chance you might just come here, retest the low and then go. Or you just take off. If we assume this was all a correction, we'll just take off. So both the buy setup is good. You will get break even out of it. Come back to this level. I'll put this level. I'll take this off. That is the bigger low we broke already. I'm just going to put this level as a gauge for it. So when you get there, what you want to do is or close to that, you want to put that entry order to buy. For a sell setup, put an entry order to sell in case it doesn't go. But these are good trades. They broke the low, so let's see if it takes off. This broke the low. Look for a buy setup here. Again, this is pretty sharp, but this one was pretty sharp too. So, wait and see what happens. If this just comes to this level and go back down, let's say it comes to this level here and go back down. Well, you can put an entry order to sell there. If it doesn't give you the trade you want, let's see, we have a setup to buy. Yeah, you can make an argument for a small running flat there. And make an argument for this, put an entry order here for the trade. So we put one there and then we'll manage those trades. Remember, you're buying these for long term. So from the very bottom here, it's not a big deal. This one doesn't have a good setup. Although we broke the low and this could totally go. I don't like this setup. Wait for more consolidation. Let it drop some more here and consolidate. Decide whether that's a big flat and put an entry order there. If it starts going up like this, it's going to be too slow. Wait for a deeper consolidation. OMG. You have a flat forming there. If this is correct, we're going to take off. This could be a buy. You can make an argument that this flat is completed. Sorry. This flat here is completed. 1, 2, 3. This is going down. That's a good buy. The idea for buying is a good idea. Even if it's a slow move, let's say they just come here and then pull back and go and pull back and go, you'll get a drop one more. But it looks good. This could take off. I actually like this one. It's a good buy setup. Put an entry above the top, and let's go with the buy. The buy setups are coming on now. XRP. You bought this already. You can close if you want. You not close it, but put an entry order to sell somewhere here. If it drops lower, you sell. And it could drop lower if this is the running flat, right? If that's a running flat, then they can literally come back here and then go. If it goes one more up, if this consolidated go one more up, still an expanding flat is possible. There's only one thing where this goes up totally. If you look at this as a contracting flat. If you come here and you look at this as a contracting flat from this point, then this could be the low and we go up. We'll not do that as yet. We'll wait until it totally, totally proves that it's a contracting flat, which means there can be more up into this. Put this here. We want the size of this, and then we're going to put it here. This is what we're looking for. Let's see if we get it. This one also, you see the reason you didn't close the trade is you put the entry order thing because you're long term, but they come back to the top here, which is telling me, could this possibly be a contracting flat here? And this is the low because this one is making a really big flat here now. This is probably going to go up a little more. Come back here at some point, make a sharp running flat, and then go. If I'm going to buy this long term, I want it to drop here, wait for the up move, take the trade here, and then go. Right, that would be the long term buy. We'll go with the contracting flat. As of now, we're going to keep it as a possible running flat. Right, even if it breaks the top, keep it here for a possible run, then drop one more and then go. So looks like we might get a few contracting flats as well because we had conflicting information. This is a buy. Totally, we put an entry order there for a buy. This one doesn't have any sign of a contracting flat, just one sharp move, but this could make a sharp move here before it comes back. So this is the move we're looking for. So this could give you a sharp spike here and then come down back. Makes sense. Go for the buy. So be a buy. This one. Okay, if you bought this and if let's assume you had an entry order to close and you got close, probably wait for this to consolidate some more and then put a buy again. Wait for the consolidation before you buy again. It could go more. We're expecting a big move up. We're expecting a move up like this. We never broke the low, so this could just come and retest the top. Wait for another buy setup. Adam. This might be finished here, so if this is going to go, the buy is a good idea. Putting an entry on top of there for the buy is a good idea. But that is a buy, and we'll manage them. Let's see this. What's the bigger picture here? You could still possibly got a running flat, or you might have completed the running flat here. Two ways you can look at this. This is the running flat. This is the low. You're going up. This is the low. You can make an argument for that running flat, or we're still in the running flat. The buy is a good idea. You're getting a nice buy setup here. Buy, let's see how far it goes. Sorry, this one. Yeah, that's a buy. I'll wait on this one. The depth of this, we'll leave that alone. Let's see ETH. If you're already in the buy, just wait for it to go up some more. And I think there's a chance it will pull back, or there's a chance this is the thing. So an entry order here is not a bad idea too. If you're already in the trade from last week, good. Wait, just wait. If you're not, put an entry order above the top. This is a good buy. Although we make that sharp move up, right? We made it. Very nice sharp. There's still a buy setup here. Worth taking, but be careful, right? Because I don't know how high that is going to go. Can we look for a possible contracting flat here? That would be this one, right? That would be that contracting flat. Maybe. Both options. Contracting flats are always hindsight. You wouldn't make them forecast in advance. Otherwise, you'd want to look for buy setup here. So wait, this can at least one more impulse up, put it to break even. This almost completed, but you're getting another entry here. So if you're going to take this one you have to take with a lot of caution. Okay, this might just be a sharp spike and then drop one more. This definitely looks downside. It might go, but it looks downside. So we're not trading that. On link, you're getting a buy setup here, but this is within this structure. See, you've got this deep pullback. You get a flat there. They just do that, come back here, do this, drop one more, and then go. I don't see this as taking off as yet. So we stay away from this one for now. Although this flat is completed, we did break the low. It's not looking aggressive enough to think it's going to take off. This deep pullback is a problem. If you take the trade, let's say you put an entry here. It goes like this. You have to get it to break even because there's a chance it's going to do this. Look for a buy set up here and then go. This would be a running flat. And why do we need a big running flat like this at the bottom of a structure that's going up? Normally they go aggressive, but keep that in mind. So, okay, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching to the end. And for all the YouTube viewers, I doubt you'll watch, but you look at the parts you like. And if you like, just click your likes, make a comment, and see all of you. Trade with Kerry this week. See all of you next week.